Oh man, don't get me started.
Don't even get me
Oh, good
started.
morning, good morning, good morning, Hyatt News viewers. This is Yarrow Kubrin, Tuesday, December 5th, 9:37 a.m. Pacific time. And when I'm not riff rambling and ranting, I am covering articles like this. My article this morning: cannabis users to be protected from workplace discrimination in California. Under new state laws, employees will not be able to be reprimanded or fire. Employers will not be able to reprimand or fire employees for off duty cannabis use. California employers will soon be barred from discriminating against employees or applicants based on cannabis use outside of the workplace. On January 1, a new set of state laws, Assembly Bill 2188 and Senate Bill 700, that expand the state's Fair Employment and Housing Acts to add certain employment protections for those who engage in marijuana use, will go into effect. AB 2188 was passed and signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom in 2022, and SB 700, which was signed this year, clarified and expanded certain provisions of AB 2188 before it was set to go into effect in 2024. Under the new laws, it will be illegal for employers to with 5 or more employees to penalize potential or current workers for off-duty cannabis use. SB 700 specified that this protection prohibits an employer from asking an applicant about their prior use of the substance, except if they are permitted to consider a criminal history with cannabis-related crimes. The law also bars employers from reprimanding workers who fail an employee-required drug screen test with a positive test for non-psychoactive cannabis metabolites. These metabolites are a dormant footprint of cannabis that is stored in one's body after the THC metabolizes. Experts say most drug tests from employees primarily screen for these metabolites as opposed to active THC. Unlike active THC, the presence of metabolites usually does not indicate impairment and has not been found to lead to a higher risk of workplace accidents, according to NORML, National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. However, these new laws do not bar other measures that employers may take to maintain a drug-free workplace. According to AB 2188, employers can still screen workers for the presence of active THC and take disciplinary measures against employers who are impaired in the workplace. Certain types of employers, like those in construction trades or in workplaces that receive federal funding, who are required by federal law to test for controlled substances, are exempt from these testing protections. While there is consensus that no one should ever show up for work high or impaired, testing positive for this metabolite has no correlation to workplace safety or productivity, Assembly member Sharon Quirk Silva, who authored AB 21, said in a 2022 report. Testing for THC may indicate an individual is impaired at work and it is a better way to maintain workplace safety. AB 2188 is a balanced solution that will protect the rights of employees and employers. California voters legalized marijuana for recreational use by adults in a 2016 referendum, Prop 64. The ballot measure came about a decade after voters approved the removal of restrictions for medicinal cannabis use in the state. Despite being legal, advocates say that workplace discrimination against employees who use cannabis lawfully remains a pervasive issue, one that disproportionately impacts Black communities. According to a study from the American Addiction Center, Black people are more than twice as likely to be reprimanded or fired for failing a drug test compared to their white counterparts who reported more leniency from employers. Total shocker. California joins 7 other states with laws on the books aimed at protecting employment rights for recreational and medicinal marijuana users: Washington, Nevada, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Montana, and Rhode Island. This is Yarrow Kubrin. 20 states, including Arkansas, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, and Pennsylvania, only prohibit workplace discrimination against medical marijuana users. This is Yarrow Kubrin, Hyatt 9 News. I want to hear what the rest of you guys think.
Long overdue.
Yeah, this is great news. This is great news,
Yeah.
but at the same
Great.
time, you know, if you
Yeah,
want to, if you want to
everything
be
is
that
long
dude,
overdue.
don't have more than 5 employees.
However,
What?
however,
No.
devil's advocate,
Mm.
devil's advocate here.
What?
What you do on your own time and how you present yourself on your own time can still come back to bite you in your ass, because you might not want somebody representing your company for what they're doing on their own time
Yeah, I
and
don't
displaying
understand.
themselves publicly as such.
I really don't understand the meaning of why they would say, you know, with any company with five employees or more would fall under this. Why not just say all California companies? That just doesn't make a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yara, do you
I'm
have
not
any?
sure if 5 is the critical mass. For me, the takeaway was the last sentence at the end when it talked about how these workplace practices are still used as a form of, for lack of a better term, institutionalized racism. And so
Yeah.
when we talk about rules and regs and what's fair and
Yeah.
what's not fair, sometimes it's not the rules, it's how the rules are administered or enforced. And so we know that people of color are 3 to 5 times more likely to be arrested for cannabis in this country. And so I was saddened but not surprised that these employment practices are also used as a tool to keep certain constituents under opportunityed. And so I like the welcome change, and I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's a small step.
But I agree with you totally, Yarrow. It would surprise me. I don't think I've heard that statistic before. I mean, I knew it, but I don't think that I'd ever heard it reported on before. And so thank you for bringing that to light. I mean, it's something that in our communities, we just know that happens more often than not because it affects our families. And so we see
Yep.
it, but we don't hear it as much. And of course, knowing the arrest ratio is disproportionate. Hearing that really kind of solidifies the institutional racism. So thank you. I appreciate that information.
I think the stigma from cannabis isn't really gone until we have the exact opposite, which is we have protection for workers who don't smoke cannabis because on the onboarding and hiring practices, bosses, especially in creative jobs, are like, hey, you smoke a little weed on the side. And if people say no, they might not get hired. And therefore, we need to protect those workers that don't consume cannabis. I mean, there's a lot of jobs where off-duty cannabis use could be very, very helpful, either from a stress reduction, wellness perspective, unlocking some creative part of the brain, or just being able to tune out, clock out, and come back fully rested and ready for that next shift. We got some ways to go though.
A lot of ways.
Agreed.
A lot of ways to go.
Every
on that.
job.
Yes, we're going to
Every
go to a
job.
commercial and we're going to be right back.